She entered the alien army until she got the high score on every military test. Then they stopped treating military assessments as objective measurements and started investigating whether humans had access to performance-enhancing modifications that violated galactic regulations. Let me tell you about the day I learned that human, natural ability, includes capabilities that most species only achieve through decades of specialized training or genetic enhancement. Spoiler alert, the unmodified human from the baseline genetic stock somehow outperforms everyone at everything and thinks this is completely normal. My name is General Krevix Tharn, Commandant of the Korvathi Imperial Military Academy, and I have overseen military training for 37 standard cycles. I have evaluated over 15,000 cadets from 52 different species, designed assessment protocols that test everything from physical capability to tactical reasoning, and personally certified the standards that determine who qualifies for military service in the Korvathi Empire. Point is, I know military excellence. I understand what separates adequate soldiers from exceptional ones, what performance levels are achievable through training versus requiring genetic advantages, what scores are possible for different species on different assessments. I can look at a cadet's profile and predict with 89% accuracy what their final evaluation scores will be based on species baseline and individual aptitude measurements. Until the human. Cadet Lieutenant Sarah Mitchell enrolled through the Terran Exchange Program, an initiative designed to promote military cooperation between Earth and established galactic powers. Humans were new to interstellar politics, only been spacefaring for maybe 25 years, and the exchange program was meant to familiarize them with galactic military standards while giving us insight into human capabilities. Mitchell's preliminary profile was unremarkable by galactic standards. Human female, 175 centimeters tall, 68 kilograms, no genetic modifications detected, baseline human physical specifications. Her entrance examination scores were good, not exceptional, placing her in the 73rd percentile overall. Adequate for admission but nothing suggesting extraordinary capability. Cadet Mitchell, I said during her intake interview, you're the first human to attend this academy. Your performance will influence how Earth is perceived militarily by other civilizations. Do you understand the responsibility? Yes, sir, Mitchell said. She had dark blonde hair in regulation style, gray eyes that seemed to catalog everything, and this calm demeanor that suggested either confidence or complete misunderstanding of the challenges ahead. I'll do my best to represent Earth well. Your preliminary scores suggest you'll perform adequately, I said, reviewing her file. But I should warn you that our training is designed for species with significant military traditions. The Korvathi have been warriors for millennia. Other species here have natural advantages like enhanced strength, superior sensory capabilities, or innate tactical reasoning. Humans are relatively new to organized warfare and lack obvious physical advantages. You may find the training challenging. I appreciate the warning, sir, Mitchell said. But humans have been fighting each other for our entire history. We might be new to space, but we're not new to warfare. I think I'll manage. That seemed like overconfidence from a species that had barely left their own solar system, but I appreciated her determination. The Academy's training program was comprehensive and deliberately challenging, designed to identify and develop the best military talent from across the Empire. We tested physical capability, tactical reasoning, weapons proficiency, leadership under stress, technical aptitude, and about 40 other metrics that military effectiveness depended on. The first assessment was basic physical conditioning, a standardized test of strength, speed, endurance, and agility. Different species had different baseline capabilities, so we used species-adjusted scoring that accounted for natural advantages. A Krellian with 4 arms and 140 kilograms of muscle would obviously outperform a plenary with 2 arms and 8 kilograms body mass, so we measured performance relative to species norms. Mitchell's scores were concerning for entirely unexpected reasons. She completed the strength assessment with results that placed her in the 94th percentile for humans, the speed test at 91st percentile, the endurance evaluation at 97th percentile, and the agility course at 89th percentile. Those were extraordinary scores, especially combined. Most cadets excelled at 1 or 2 physical attributes while being average at others. Cadet Mitchell, my training officer Kvalek reported, is either an exceptional physical specimen for her species or our human baseline data is incorrect. What does her medical evaluation show? I asked. Completely baseline human physiology, Kvalek said. No modifications, no enhancements, no genetic optimization. She's just naturally in the top few percentiles for human physical capability across all measured attributes. That's unusual but possible, I said. Some individuals are naturally gifted athletes. Monitor her progress and see if she maintains this performance level. The second assessment was tactical reasoning, a series of simulations testing strategic thinking, threat assessment, resource management, and decision-making under pressure. This was where I expected Mitchell to struggle. Humans were new to galactic-scale warfare and lacked the institutional knowledge that species with millennia of military tradition possessed. Mitchell scored 98th percentile overall. Not 98th percentile for humans, 98th percentile across all species tested. That's impossible, I said, reviewing the results. These scenarios involve orbital mechanics, multi-species tactical coordination, and weapons systems humans have barely encountered. How did she perform at that level? She demonstrated intuitive understanding of force projection, resource allocation, and predictive modeling, Kvalek said. Her approach was unconventional by our standards but consistently effective. She made decisions quickly, adapted to changing scenarios, and showed creativity in problem-solving that exceeded most cadets. Run the assessment again, I ordered. Make sure there wasn't a data error. They ran it again with different scenarios. Mitchell scored 97th percentile the second time, with comments from evaluators noting her remarkably sophisticated understanding of warfare principles and ability to synthesize information and project outcomes with unusual accuracy. The weapons proficiency assessment was next, testing capability with various military systems from small arms to heavy weapons to vehicle-mounted systems. This should have been Mitchell's weakest area. Humans had limited exposure to galactic weapons technology. Mitchell achieved perfect scores on 14 out of 17 weapon systems, near-perfect scores on the remaining 3, and set new Academy records for accuracy on 6 different platforms. This is beyond statistically probable, I told Kvalek, watching video of Mitchell's performance. She's firing weapons she's never seen before with accuracy that takes most cadets months to develop. The Vraxian plasma rifle has complex targeting mechanics that require extensive training. She picked it up, listened to a 5-minute instruction session, and then shot perfect scores. Her hand-eye coordination is exceptional, Kvalek observed. And her learning curve is essentially vertical. She processes instruction, applies it immediately, and refines technique in real time. I've never seen anyone adapt that quickly to new weapons systems. The pattern continued across every assessment. Leadership evaluation. 96th percentile, with subordinates reporting high confidence in her judgment and command presence. Technical aptitude. 93rd percentile, demonstrated ability to understand and repair complex systems after minimal training. Stress tolerance. 99th percentile, maintained cognitive performance under conditions that degraded most cadets' capabilities by 40% or more. By the end of first term, Mitchell held the top score in the entire Academy across aggregate measurements. Not top score for humans or her class, top score among all 847 currently enrolled cadets from 52 different species, many with natural advantages humans lacked. We need to investigate this, I told my staff during a review meeting. Either Mitchell has undisclosed enhancements, or our understanding of human baseline capability is fundamentally wrong. Medical examination shows no enhancements, our chief medical officer reported. She's genetically baseline human, no modifications, no augmentation, no performance-enhancing compounds in her system. She's just naturally exceptional. Nobody is naturally exceptional at everything, I said. Excellence in physical capability doesn't typically correlate with tactical genius and technical aptitude. These are different skill sets requiring different natural abilities and training. Yet Mitchell excels at all of them simultaneously. Shall I interview her? Kvalek suggested. Determine if she has training background we're unaware of. I approved the interview, and Kvalek reported back with information that made the situation more confusing rather than less. Mitchell's background is military, but not elite military, Kvalek said. She served 4 years in Earth's armed forces, standard infantry, with 1 deployment to a conflict zone. Good service record but nothing extraordinary by Earth standards. She's not special forces, not intelligence, just a regular soldier who decided to pursue officer training. Regular soldiers don't score 98th percentile on tactical reasoning against species with millennia of military tradition, according to Mitchell. Her scores are good but not exceptional by Earth military standards, Kvalek said. She estimates she'd be in maybe the 75th to 80th percentile if competing only against other trained human soldiers. She's performing well here because, in her words, the competition is less experienced and the tests are straightforward. She thinks galactic military assessments are straightforward, I repeated slowly. Yes, sir. She said the tactical scenarios are less complex than Earth war games, the physical standards are achievable with basic conditioning, and the weapons systems are intuitive once you understand the underlying principles. I contacted General Rodriguez, Mitchell's commanding officer from Earth, seeking context for these claims. General Rodriguez, we need to discuss Cadet Mitchell's capabilities. She's achieving scores that seem impossible for her experience level. Sarah's a good soldier, Rodriguez said. Smart, dedicated, physically capable. She's probably in the top 20% of our personnel, maybe top 15%. Why is she struggling? The opposite, I said. She holds the highest aggregate score in our academy history across all species and all assessments. We're trying to determine if she has undisclosed training or enhancements. Rodriguez laughed, actually laughed. Sarah. No, she's completely baseline. No enhancements, no special training beyond standard military. If she's doing well, that's just her natural ability combined with Earth military training. Earth military training produces soldiers who outperform species with significant genetic advantages and centuries of military tradition. Earth military training produces soldiers who can adapt to any situation because we train in fundamentals rather than specific scenarios, Rodriguez said. We teach decision-making, not decision memorization. We teach weapons principles, not specific platforms. We teach physical conditioning, not specialized attributes. Sarah's good at everything because we train people to be adaptable generalists rather than specialized experts. That seems pedagogically inefficient. It's extremely efficient when circumstances change, Rodriguez countered. Specialized experts perform better in their specialty but struggle when conditions don't match their training. Generalists like Sarah perform well across broad contexts because they understand underlying principles and can apply them flexibly. That's what Earth military doctrine prioritizes, adaptability over optimization. Over the following terms, Mitchell continued her pattern of exceptional performance. She didn't just maintain high scores, she consistently improved, setting new records and outperforming cadets who had species-based advantages she lacked. When we tested zero-gravity combat, where humans should have been disadvantaged compared to species that evolved in low-gravity environments, Mitchell adapted within hours and scored in the 91st percentile. When we assessed multi-species team leadership, where humans' relative newness to galactic politics should have created barriers, Mitchell demonstrated cultural intelligence and communication skills that made her one of the most effective team leaders in the Academy. When we evaluated advanced strategic planning, involving large-scale military operations across multiple star systems, Mitchell produced plans that senior instructors described as showing sophistication beyond her rank and experience. She's not human, one Krellian cadet complained after Mitchell outperformed him on a physical combat assessment despite his forearm advantage and 80-kilogram weight advantage. Humans aren't this capable. She must be modified or enhanced somehow. Medical examination confirms she's completely baseline human, I said for the 100th time. No modifications, no enhancements, just training and natural ability. Then humans are more dangerous than we realized, the cadet said. If their baseline soldiers perform at this level, their actual military capabilities might be far beyond what we've assessed. He had a point. If Mitchell was truly representative of Earth's trained military personnel, and General Rodriguez suggested she was good but not exceptional by their standards, then humanity's military capabilities were significantly greater than initial assessments suggested. I contacted the Galactic Military Assessment Council to share findings. We need to revise human capability assessments, I reported. Our data suggests humans have natural aptitudes across multiple domains that weren't apparent from initial evaluations, based on one exceptional individual, the council representative asked skeptically. Based on one individual who her own command structure considers good but not exceptional, I corrected. If Cadet Mitchell is representative of Earth's baseline military capability, then humans are considerably more formidable than we predicted. They combine physical capability, tactical intelligence, technical aptitude, and adaptability in ways that exceed most species we've evaluated. What makes them so effective? Training methodology that emphasizes fundamentals and adaptability, I said. They don't optimize for specific scenarios, they train broad-spectrum competency. That makes them effective across diverse situations because they understand principles rather than memorizing procedures. Combined with apparently high natural aptitude across multiple attributes, This produces soldiers who excel at everything rather than specializing in specific roles. The Council initiated a comprehensive reassessment of human military capabilities, expanding evaluation beyond Mitchell to include analysis of Earth's military structure, training methodologies, and combat history. What they found was simultaneously impressive and disturbing. Humans had been fighting each other continuously for their entire recorded history, developing increasingly sophisticated warfare techniques through constant practical application. They had military traditions spanning thousands of years across hundreds of cultures, creating diverse tactical approaches and strategic frameworks. They had recently unified enough to present a coherent military structure to galactic society, but maintained the institutional knowledge from millennia of varied warfare experience. They're not newcomers to warfare, the Council's final report concluded. They're a species that has been at war continuously for longer than most galactic civilizations have existed. They're new to space, but they're extremely experienced at fighting. That experience, combined with adaptable training methods and apparently high natural aptitude across multiple metrics, makes them considerably more militarily capable than initial assessments suggested. Mitchell graduated top of her class, naturally, with the highest aggregate scores in Academy history and commendations for excellence in 34 separate categories. She was recruited by multiple galactic military organizations and several intelligence services, all offering premium positions for someone with her demonstrated capabilities. She chose to return to Earth's military, accepting a position training other soldiers in the exchange program. Why return to Earth? I asked during her final interview. You have opportunities here that would advance your career considerably. Earth is home, Mitchell said simply. And honestly, sir, I'm not that exceptional by Earth standards. I'm good at what I do, but we have millions of soldiers with similar or better capabilities. I can serve better by training others and sharing what I learned here than by taking a position in galactic military structure. You genuinely don't think you're exceptional? I'm in maybe the 80th percentile for trained Earth military personnel, Mitchell said. I did well here because I had good training and the competition wasn't as experienced as I expected. But back home, I'm just another competent soldier. We have plenty of people better than me at specific things. I just happen to be pretty good at a lot of things, which is what Earth military training prioritizes. That assessment of competition being not as experienced as expected is concerning, I said. You outperformed species with millennia of military tradition. They have military tradition, but how much practical experience? Mitchell asked. Earth has been at war somewhere on the planet almost continuously for all of recorded history. Most galactic species have been at peace for centuries or longer. Tradition isn't the same as practice. We've been practicing warfare constantly. That creates experiential knowledge that tradition alone doesn't provide. She had a point. Galactic civilization had been relatively peaceful for centuries, with military conflicts being rare and usually limited. Earth had been continuously at war somewhere, developing and refining military capabilities through constant practical application. That created a different kind of expertise than species that studied historical warfare but rarely practiced it. One more question, I said. How common are soldiers with your capability level on Earth? Maybe 15 to 20% of our active military would perform similarly in your assessments, Mitchell estimated. Another 40% would score slightly lower but still very well. We train a lot of people to high standards because we've needed large, capable militaries throughout our history. Quality isn't rare for us because we've been producing it at scale for a very long time. That was the truly concerning data point. Not that humans had exceptional individuals, but that exceptional capability was common among them. Mitchell wasn't a genetic anomaly or elite specialist. She was a representative sample of Earth's military personnel performing at levels that exceeded most galactic military traditions. Over the following years, more humans enrolled in the Academy. The pattern was consistent. Humans generally scored in the 75th to 95th percentile across assessments, with many achieving top rankings in their respective classes. They weren't all as exceptional as Mitchell, but they were all considerably more capable than initial human assessments had predicted. We need to revise our entire understanding of human military capability, I told the Council during a review session. They're not newcomers learning galactic warfare, they're experienced warriors adapting their extensive knowledge to a new context. That makes them far more dangerous than we initially assessed. Dangerous to whom? The Council asked. Potentially everyone, I said. But practically, to anyone who threatens them or their allies. Earth has demonstrated willingness to intervene militarily when they perceive injustice. Combined with capabilities we now understand they possess, that makes them a major military power despite their recent entry to galactic politics. Should we be concerned? We should be respectful, I corrected. And we should be very careful about creating situations where human military capability needs to be deployed against us rather than alongside us. They're excellent allies and would be devastating enemies. She entered the alien army until she got the high score on every military test. Then everyone learned that human baseline capability includes aptitudes that most species consider exceptional, that Earth's military training produces adaptable generalists who excel across broad contexts, and that humans have been practicing warfare continuously for so long that their institutional knowledge exceeds species with longer spacefaring histories. My name is General Krevix Tharn, and I used to think military capability correlated with technological advancement and genetic optimization. Now I understand that capability also correlates with practical experience, adaptable training, and cultural emphasis on continuous improvement through competition. Humans have all of those factors working together, producing soldiers who consistently outperform species that should have natural advantages. Cadet Mitchell demonstrated that principle by achieving the highest scores in Academy history across every assessment while being, by her own evaluation, merely a good soldier by Earth standards. That's not humility, that's accurate assessment from someone whose baseline includes capabilities the rest of the galaxy considers extraordinary. She got the high score on every military test, and then explained that this was completely normal for trained human military personnel because Earth has been producing capable soldiers at scale for thousands of years through continuous practical application of warfare. That's not exceptional individual ability, that's the standard output from a civilization that never stopped fighting long enough to forget how. And it makes humans considerably more militarily significant than anyone predicted based on their recent arrival to galactic society.